Hello friends, welcome back for another read aloud. If you've seen my James and the Giant Peach that I posted today, you'll understand why the lighting is the way it is. It's getting dark outside, it's Sunday evening, but I wanted to go ahead and record some books for you, so just forgive me that the lighting is a little on the yellow side, but I think you can still see the books just fine. So last week you did a lot of activities with taking care of the earth and things that you can do to make our earth a better place and to take care of it so we have a healthy planet for a long time going forward. But a lot of kids also often have questions called, why should I recycle? Like, why just me? Like, why is that so important for me to do? So we're going to read a story today about a little boy. He has that same question. Why should I recycle? Why is that important? This story is illustrated by Mike Gordon, but it's written by Jen Green. Why should I recycle? What is that all about? In my family, we recycle our garbage. We return things so they can be used again. So there they are. They're at like a recycling center. A lot of us have like a recycling container in our garage or out on the porch or in front of the house or on the side of the house by the trash can. And we put it out and a truck comes, but not everybody has that. So they bring bottles and they sort their recycling into the recycling center. We didn't always recycle though. We used to throw everything away, like in the garbage. So look at how much garbage they have. Gracious, that's a lot of trash, isn't it? I see a few things in there that could be recycled. On our way to school, we always pass Mr. Jones's house. Mr. Jones is our teacher. One day, we saw him putting a special box with cans, bottles, and papers by his gate. What are you doing? So look, they see Mr. Jones, and you're like, what's that box about? Right? This box is for recycling. All these things are taken away and used again, said Mr. Jones. What's recycling? Mr. Jones says, I'll explain that at school. So he's talking about recycling, but look, the dog is thinking about unicycling. Not quite the same thing, is it? In class, Mr. Jones asked us what we did with our trash. We put it in the garbage can. Yeah, it's just old garbage. Look, here he is talking to his class. He's holding up an apple core. He's like, what could you do with this? Mr. Jones said garbage contain lots of useful things that can be recycled, or used again. Why should I recycle again? So she's like looking at that bottle like, what do you mean used again? What does it mean recycled? Mr. Jones took the class to a recycling center. It had separate containers for bottles, cans, plastic, clothes, and paper. What do you think happens to all the glass that goes in here? Asked Mr. Jones. So look, they have all kinds of places that they've sorted their recycling, right? They got cardboard boxes, cans, they're putting bottles in the bottle return. He's like, what do you think happens to all that glass in there? It gets broken down to make shiny new bottles. What? And guess what happens to all the cans that go in here? Asked Mr. Jones. So look, here they are. They break the bottles up, they melt them down, and they make new glass. What do you think happens to those metal cans? They get melted down to make new metal things, such as bikes and scooters. Wow. Dog riding the scooter. You never know. Your bike or scooter could be made out of recycled cans. And what about the paper and the plastic that goes here and here? Asked Mr. Jones. He's like, what do you think happens to that stuff? The paper gets shredded and used to make new books and comics. All these things came from garbage that we just throw away? So he's like, yeah, you can shred the paper. You can actually clean the ink out of the paper and turn it into brand new paper and books and all kinds of cool things. This plastic can be used to make all kinds of things, including clothes. You might be wearing some right now, said Mr. Jones. So why waste the waste? Like, why throw away this garbage if we can use it? Did you know you can make clothes out of plastic bottles? They don't even feel like plastic. It's pretty amazing. So they're like, yeah, so why are all these people just throwing this stuff away if you can turn it into good stuff? Most of the garbage we put in the trash can gets buried in dumps that spoil the countryside. It's good to recycle as much as you can, said Mr. Jones. So what else can we recycle? She's like, ooh, yeah, a dump. If you've ever been close, it's very stinky. And they do. They bury it in the ground. It's not magic. Your trash does not just magically disappear. It has to go somewhere and live there. Clothes, books, and toys that you don't want can all be taken to the secondhand store, explained Mr. Jones. Like the thrift store, Goodwill, YMCA. We have lots of those around here. They're very helpful to families who maybe can't buy things that are new all the time. And it's really a good place to go, especially if you're still growing, because you're going to grow out of your clothes so fast, you'll hardly get a chance to wear them out. The food we buy at the supermarket comes in packages that can often be used again. Don't waste, Mom. So look, she's got in her head that she could turn this container that used to have soap in it into a planter. So sure, you could turn things into other things, reuse them, right? Doesn't mean they have to be used for the same thing. You can use them for something different. I told Mom and Dad about our trip to the recycling center. Now we buy recycled things at the store. Recycled paper helps save trees. We always recycle the plastic bags, too. We brought our own bags, thanks. A lot of us bring our own grocery bags to the grocery store, so that way we don't use up those thin plastic bags as much. But if you do use the plastic bags from the grocery store, when you go back, they have a container that you can put them in, so that way they can be recycled and turned into more plastic bags. Okay? We also recycle everything at home. Fruit and vegetable peelings get recycled on our new compost heap. So when I'm done with this book, I'll show you our compost at my house. But you can take things like old vegetable, fruit parts, things like that, peanut hulls, and you can mix them with soil and actually make really rich soil that's good for growing. The compost helps my mom grow prize vegetables. Oh, look. Mom won first prize. They use their compost in their soil because it adds extra nutrients to help the plants grow better. Now we recycle so much garbage, there's hardly anything left to put in the garbage can. Recycling is kind to nature, and it saves money, and it's fun. So look, the garbage man came and there's nothing in there. And look, here they are. Oh, look, they're bringing some water. They're reusing a jug to build a sandcastle, right? Very neat. And they're using different containers to make different shapes for their castle. So, why should I recycle? That book had some pretty good reasons why to do it, right? You are one kid, but you have a whole family that you live with. And so recycling is really important. So I told you I was going to show you my compost, so you're going to have to walk with me. So I'm going to carry you. All right, let's see. Oopsie, stepping on some stuff on the floor. It's a little dark in here. Here we go. Okay, so in our kitchen, next to our sink, we have, where is it? There we go. This little bucket. It looks kind of gross right now, doesn't it? Ew, it's got eggshells and peanuts, but this is our compost. And so when this gets full, we take it outside. Might be a little on the darkish side. Ooh, I turned blue for a minute. And we put it inside. It looks like a trash can, but it's not. I don't know if I can get the lid off. Let me sit you down right here for a second. Ugh. Oh, good. There's some stuff on the top. Mr. Dave hasn't stirred it today, or since the last time we emptied it. But, there we go. Can you see down there? Do you see how there's stuff in there? But it's also very dark. It looks like there's a lot of soil in there. And it is. There's also a white pipe sticking out because sometimes the lid gets left off and it rains and you don't want a whole lot of water in there. So that's our drainage system. But anyways, that is our compost. Now, we do not have a garden because we do not really have much of a yard. But Mr. Dave has some friends at work that do have gardens. And so when our compost is ready, we give it to them. And they use it in their garden to grow their vegetables. And oftentimes at school, when we would get ready to plant our seeds in the spring, we usually mix some compost in with those things as well. So we compost, we also recycle. We are lucky we live in a place where you do not have to separate your recycling. You can put all the stuff in the same container, roll it out, and they sort it at the recycling center where it goes. So anything that you can do to help use less, find another use for, reuse it, or recycle is a great thing. So we usually don't put our trash out very often because we don't have a lot of trash between recycling and composting. So see what you could do at your house to lessen the garbage that you put in the garbage can. All right, so think about that. Talk to people in your house. Why should your whole family recycle? What can you do to make the earth a better place? I hope you enjoyed our story, and I hope you'll come back for another one soon. I miss you all.